Hi everyone, it's Tanya here, otherwise known as Tartan Taz. Welcome to my Love Fall Art journal page. As you can see, I have started with a gesso on top of a page that I actually didn't like. Now, this page I thought, fall, well for us it's autumn, I would use some autumn colours, so I'm doing jelly plating. Sometimes it's a bit of a hit or miss with me with the jelly plating. Sometimes I get it right and sometimes I get it horribly wrong. Instead of using any stencils or stamps, I thought I would just use a Q-tip and draw out some leaf shapes on some rather nice orange colour and put it directly in the book. I kind of found that it didn't really work particularly well because of the spine, however it was good enough and I was quite pleased with what I did get. Unfortunately, as you've probably noticed, I actually forgot to start recording when I was adding some extra paint. All I've added was acrylic paints in a little bit of orange and a little bit more brown in order to cover up the white bits that the jelly printing missed. I'm now setting up the stamps that I'm going to use, and I have some very small stamps that I purchased some time ago in a craft fair, and what you see, which is not particularly clear, is pine cones. I have a slightly larger size pine cone and a slightly smaller size pine cone. And I'm using a variety of different browns, really just experimenting excuse me, with all the different inks that I have. This particular page is to do with clocks. For me, when I'm trying to remember our time changes, we have a saying. And the saying is spring forward, fall back. So in the spring our clocks go forward 1 hour, and in the autumn, which is also known as fall, they go back 1 hour. So it's a very good way of remembering how to put your clocks. Of course, this saying only really works if you put your clocks forward 1 hour in the spring and 1 hour back in the fall, but never mind. What you're seeing me do now is using an acrylic ink. I wanted to do some drippage. I was really pleased with the fact that I had used Tim Holtz Distress ink for the clocks, and using the ink dripping through it actually dragged the colour down as well. Really pleased with the outcome of that. Just dabbing up some of the excess there. Then I thought, well, what else can I do now? And I found another clock face and just stamping that all over, again using different inks. And again, for some reason I was having a lot of problems with my camera switching off and not realising it. So there's a little bit skipped. I had gone back to using the mahogany with the other clock face to try and get some of the clock faces to stand out a little. At the moment I'm just rearranging some leaves that I had cut out from a scrapbook page. It was just a little 6x6 bit of paper that I had in my stash, and I thought that it would make interesting leaves and give a little bit of layering and dimension to the page. So I'm using the golden matte medium in order to stick this down. I was having to be a little bit careful with it because it did have a tendency to move the Tim Holtz ink, but otherwise it has turned out particularly well, I think. I was really pleased with the colour combinations of this page, and the lightness of the leaves has really lightened up the page, as I felt previously. It was a little bit dark, and perhaps if I was to do this page again, I would start with a slightly lighter colour. So I hope you are all enjoying the Love Fall Art hashtag event. I know that I have certainly enjoyed making this video and been watching some of my arty friends do their videos, and there are some fantastic pages out there. I'm certainly very pleased with how this turned out. This is one of corner stamps that I had used, and I had made the mistake of putting it onto the big acrylic block a little bit the wrong way, really, so I had to turn it around, and so I'm sorry about the elbow. I didn't realise it was obscuring your view, but I turned the stamp around on the acrylic block in order to fit it onto the page, because what was happening was that the spine, there was a slight step, and so it wasn't actually getting onto the page. I've moved on now to more wintry branches. I usually use these stamps for my Christmas cards and doing Christmas scenes, so it made a nice change to use it at this time of the year. Using all the different little small ink pads that I have of a variety of browns, some copper, some brown, and although it's not particularly showing up well on the camera, the actual page itself has turned out really particularly well, and I think it shows better in the photographs, which if you were to watch to the end, or alternatively you can fast it forward to the end, you should be able to see the stamping in a little bit better light. In fact, as you can possibly see, just when I move the book there, you are actually beginning to see the stamping show through. That's just a very small stamp that's I've got stuck on my finger rather than using the acrylic block, for the same reason as the big block. In order to get it into the bit that's stepping down, I needed to actually get in there with my finger. So I'm just bringing up a little bit more of the mahogany colour, which I particularly like with the Tim Holtz. So just adding just that little bit more, just that little bit finishing touches. Just lifted up the book in order to have a look and see if there's anything else that I really want to do. There wasn't, so I decided to get out my dip pen. The first part of the reminding phrase, spring forward, it's not spring, so I thought a very small nib and just writing it small would suffice. I then changed to a much thicker nib and write the second part on the second page, which is fall back. I had a little bit of difficulty. I'm not used to using such a wide nib, but I think I got there in the end, albeit it's not particularly neat, but you know, it's my art journal, and I did the best I could. Perhaps some practice will help me to improve my calligraphy. So all that remains now is for me to thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed watching as much as I have enjoyed making this video. Please feel free to come back, and if you like my video, give it the thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe. And I hope to see you all again very soon. Thank you. Bye for now.